Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm bringing you guys Week 5 waiver wire ads for fantasy football in 2020. Inside of this video, I'm going to be discussing the running back, wide receiver, as well as tight end position that are going to be available on your guys' waiver wire for week number 5. Now, some of these guys are going to be guys that you might just want to stash on your lineup. Other guys here could be guys that you can thrust right into your lineup for week number 5 to try to continue to build that success to win the ultimate goal, which is the championship at the end of the season. So if you guys want to win that championship, you're trying to eat a W like your name was famous Jameis Winston, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 fantasy football championship. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Week 5 waiver wire ads for fantasy football in 2020. We begin with the running back position. Now, the first guy here likely not going to be as available as other players, but is still readily available in kind of leagues that are not as deep, I would say, in like a 10-team league, maybe even some 12-team leagues. Joshua Kelley may be available, running back of the LA Superchargers this week, going up against the New Orleans Saints on Monday night in New Orleans. Now, Eckler will likely be out for a while. There's really no time frame for him yet, but I don't expect him to be back anytime near soon. Now, the beginning of the season, Joshua Kelley was absolutely thrusting that defense, giving it the good old 1-2 Mayweather, and then the last 2 weeks, he hasn't looked as good. So week 4 up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he carried the rock 9 times, only acquiring 7 total yards, which is 2 less yards than carries he had, which was pretty sad. 3 targets, 3 receptions, didn't do all that much with it. 1 fumble, 4.3 PPR points, 2.8 half PPR points. So obviously not too hot, but his first 2 games, 12 PPR points plus in those games in each game. Not just 12 combined points, 12 and then 13 in the other one. So Josh Kelley has looked good at times this season. This seems like the premier spot for him to really stake his place in this offense. Now, I'm not going to talk about the other player in depth later, so he's not going to even be part of the video. But Justin Jackson, if you are in a deeper kind of league, may be worthy of an ad due to the fact that Austin Eckler will be out so much time, and obviously it's not just going to be the Joshua Kelley workhorse role. Justin Jackson will probably still be involved, so he's a guy that you could be looking at as well. Not a guy that I would be super happy getting. I would definitely prefer to get Joshua Kelley, though. Next guy here, we got Damien Harris, running back of the New England Patriots, the New England Patriots, going up against the Denver Broncos this week. Now, will Cam Newton be there? I have no idea. I don't really understand the corona protocols, if I'm being completely honest with you. I have no fucking idea. It's kind of like the concussion protocol in the NFL, in my opinion. Like the concussion protocol, sometimes guys are found like 5 days later. With corona, I'm pretty sure it's 10 to 14 days, so I don't think Cam Newton will be in this game. But by God, this New England Patriots offense look sluggish in that name, like fucking Gary the Snail from SpongeBob. That's how slow they were looking. Damien Harris, though, was looking fast, and he was looking furious, like his name was Paul fucking Walker. Now, Sony Michel got sent to the IR before the game, so they bring in Damien Harris, they bring him off the IR, and he balled the fuck out up against the Kansas City Chiefs, a pretty solid defense. He had 17 touches for 100 rushing yards, 10 PPR points, and 10 half PPR points. Now, obviously, for Damien Harris, you would look for him to get involved in the receiving game to kind of boost up his point total, but if a guy's going to be getting 17 touches on one of the better teams in the NFL, in the New England fucking Patriots, how could it be better than that? It's simple. It's going to get better when Cam Newton is healthy. Sony Michel will still be gone the week after next week, or the week after this week. So next week, when Damien Harris is fine. So now Damien Harris is fine, when Cam Newton is fine, which will be even better, because this week it was just fucking Hoyer, and then it became Stidham. It was just a shit show. They were down by a zillion. They didn't even need to run the ball that much, but they were still running because the Chiefs just weren't really stepping on their fucking neck to go for the kill. They were just waiting and kind of just teasing the fucking Patriots fans, and then in the end they shoved their cock balls deep into them, and Damien Harris, the New England Patriots, were defeated. But at the end of the day, Damien Harris did play quite well, and I would expect Damien Harris to kind of be a very good option for your fantasy team from here on out. He was a guy that I advised a lot of people to stash onto their IR in the offseason, but he may be available in leagues without IRs, so definitely look for Damien Harris, kind of an unknown name for a lot of people until tonight. Next guy here, we got D'Ernest Johnson, running back of the Cleveland Browns, going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Nick Chubb went from full Chubb to fucking micro Chubb because he was out, and now he's hurt for a while. Now, he's not really a micro Chubb because you can't fucking blame a guy for getting hurt. It's a terrible situation. I wish Nick Chubb didn't get hurt, but this is the situation. The hand we have been dealt is Kareem Hunt and D'Ernest fucking Johnson. Now, D'Ernest Johnson, I really have no idea who this guy is. In reality, never really heard of him before this. I mean, I knew he was one of the backups of the Cleveland Browns, but wasn't a guy that was very utilized in the games before Nick Chubb goes down. But now he's elevated into a spot where he could put up some big production here. Mitch Trubisky and maxing, just fucking Mitch. I'm 50 shades of a dumbass. Mix and matching is what I meant to say with Kareem Hunt. So it's going to be that two-headed backfield. I do think Kareem Hunt's going to get a majority of the work, but that doesn't mean that Johnson won't be utilized here. Now, this week they do get the Indianapolis Colts, which does prove to be a very tough run defense in the NFL thus far this season. So do I think that D'Ernest Johnson is necessarily worthy of playing this week? In a deeper league, sure. In kind of a normal league, regular size, where you're kind of not really fucked up at the running back position, I'd probably sit him down on the bench, but he's definitely worthy of a guy that you can put on your bench and look for in the future to potentially be a guy that is a big player on your fantasy team. Week 4 up against the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry's World. D'Ernest Johnson, 13 rushes, 95 rushing yards, 9.5 PPR points, and 9.5 half PPR points. So while I've never fucking heard of this dude, or didn't really see him do anything so far this year, he put up 95 yards, and as a guy that is going to be probably a focal point of this Browns offense, not necessarily the focal point, because Jarvis has looked good, Odell has looked good, but I don't expect Odell to continue to look this good, just so you know. I do think they really like to run the ball in Cleveland. Their head coach, Kevin Stefanski, when he was the Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator, their goal is to run the rock gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a D'Ernest Johnson, because D'Ernest Johnson is going to play pretty well. Not calling for a big game this week, though, up against the Indianapolis Colts, but if you got to play him, you may have to. Next one here, we got Chase Edmonds, running back of the Arizona Cardinals. This week, he gets the New York Football Jets. Now, Kenyon Drake is allegedly okay after that injury. Now, he's definitely a stash with a ton of upside. There's not a lot of running backs available or a lot of real talent available on the waiver wire this week. It's very barren this week, and has been kind of this week as well as last week, since no real major injuries happened. Week 4 up against the Carolina Panthers. Chase Edmonds played quite well. 4 rushes, 15 rushing yards, 6 targets, 5 receptions, 24 receiving yards, 1 receiving tutty, 15 PPR points, and 12.5 half PPR points. What that's supposed to say, not just 12.5 PPR points. With that said, Chase Edmonds definitely more of a kind of a high-end stash. If Kenyon Drake was to go down, Chase Edmonds would propel himself straight to the goddamn ceiling, straight to the fucking moon, because he would just be that much more used in the offense that he will be with Kenyon Drake healthy, and it'll actually probably be better than what Kenyon Drake is now, because Kenyon Drake kind of has Edmonds sniffing up his ass and playing quite well, whereas if Drake is gone, then Edmonds will really be able to elevate himself and show his skills. Now, I do think Kenyon Drake will have a bounce-back game here up against the New York Football Jets, because that defense is putrid. It looks like, I don't even know what looks that bad. I thought of something. It looks like Mitch Trubisky trying to throw the ball to the left side of the field, because that guy cannot do that. So Chase Edmonds, I would say definitely a solid stash. Now, again, not a guy you can really look to be playing unless Kenyon Drake's injury gets bigger, or in case fucking Chase Edmonds pulls a Tonyan Harding and just fucking takes his kneecap out and asserts himself as the dominant running back he is in that backfield. Now, final running back here to discuss here is DeeJay Dallas, running back of the Seattle Seahawks, going up against the Minnesota Vikings this week. If you guys have ended up enjoying this video thus far, I would really like to urge you to please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys dominate your 2020 fantasy football season. And real quick, before we get into DeeJay Dallas, I'd like to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is the best place to play daily fantasy sports on the whole world wide web. Now, how does it work, you might ask? In the Matchup Shop, their new game that they debuted for the 2020 NFL season, it is simple. You are picking players head to head based upon who is going to score more fantasy football points, plus or minus the spread. Now, in the instance of the Thursday games, 2 of them have the spread. Tom Brady, minus 9.5 versus Nick Foles, and then Nick Foles gets plus 9.5, and then Anthony Miller gets plus 0 versus Jimmy Graham plus 0. So pretty much all it is, who scores more fantasy points, plus or minus the spread. I make videos every single week on this, so make sure you guys check that out. If you want to win some money, make sure you guys use that knowledge that you put every single week to win your fantasy lineups. Why not win some young moolah baby in these games? Check it out, OverlayDFS.com. And we are back, so let's get right into it. DeeJay Dallas, running back of the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Chris Carson continues to get banged up 2 weeks in a row. Will he play next week? I think so. Like, I'm pretty sure, but with Carlos Hyde kind of consistently getting hurt as well, it just seems like DeeJay Dallas is worthy of a stash in a deeper kind of league, or if you have Chris Carson, he's probably the guy to add. Week 4 up against the Miami Dolphins had 2 rushes, 8 rushing yards, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 15 receiving yards, 4.3 PPR points, 3.3 half PPR points, so nothing special out of DeeJay Dallas, or VJ Dallas, because he likes that vagina, VJ Dallas, but DeeJay Dallas, on the other hand, he's just okay. He's just really the pickup that you want to get off the waiver wire that you're not super excited about, but could turn into that lottery ticket, that golden ticket like your fucking Willy Wonka, okay? So make sure you look at DeeJay Dallas, but don't get overly excited. Don't get rock solid for DeeJay Dallas. Now to the wide receivers. Speaking of rock solid, we got Titty Boy T. Higgins, wide receiver, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, going up against the Baltimore Ravens this week in Baltimore. Now, he's had a solid last 2 weeks in a row. Week 4 up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Tigers, Cincinnati Bengals get their first ever win, though, here up against the Jacksonville Jaguars of the year. Joe Burrow's first ever win, and Joe Burrow seems to love Titty Boy Higgins. He's looking for T. Higgins all over the field. 4 receptions on 7 targets, 77 receiving yards, 1 rush, 13 rushing yards, 13 PPR points, and 11 half PPR points. So T. Higgins is very involved in this offense. It seems like A.J. Green is burnt fucking toast at this point. It seems like that guy is about as useful as wearing 4 condoms at once, because just so you guys know, if you're younger, you should only wear 1, because otherwise there's a higher chance that they rip. Now off the sex ed talk, fucking AJ Green is useless. He is abysmally bad. I have never, I expected him to be bad this year. I talked all offseason about do not draft AJ Green. He's not going to be good. But I was like, maybe I'll have some good games. But he hasn't even had one fucking good game. And T. Higgins and Tyler, Boyd have been doing pretty well. So I don't think I'm really going to be hopping on that AJ Green train. I really like T. Higgins, though. Not necessarily this week. I don't love against the Ravens, but I do definitely think he's worthy of a pickup. Next guy here, we got TQ Smith. Traquan Smith going up against the Los Angeles Chargers, a New Orleans Saints wide receiver. Now, Traquan Smith went absolutely crazy town on the Detroit Lions. 4 receptions, 4 for 4. He went 4 targets, 4 receptions like he was at Wendy's, 54 receiving yards, 2 tugs, 21.4 PPR points, and 19.4 half PPR points. I need to learn how to spell half PPR because I never fucking write it on the screen, but I'm not editing it out because that's just not something I want to do. It's a little too late here to be doing that. But Traquan Smith has looked pretty solid thus far this season. To me, he's clearly the number 1 guy when Michael Thomas is gone. Now, if Michael Thomas is back, I'm probably fucking rowboating my way away from this take because it just seems like when Michael Thomas is there, it's going to be the Michael Thomas, and it is going to end up being the Alvin Kamara show. So I don't really feel ultra safe with Traquan Smith in that case. So it's definitely kind of a wait and see today on Tuesday before you put in the waiver. It doesn't seem like Michael Thomas is going to play or not. I have no idea. They kind of need this win, though, and the Chargers do look like a tough beat, so I would probably say that Michael Thomas would play if he's good enough to go. Next one here, we got Scotty Miller, wide receiver of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Chicago Bears. Discount Danny Amendola for Tampa Bay Tom Brady. Now, Godwin will likely be out again. Week 4 up against the Los Angeles Chargers. He had 5 receptions, 7 targets, 83 yards, 1 total tuggy, 19.3 PPR points, 16.8 half PPR points. Scott Miller does look very good now. If I'm being honest with you, he was also a guy we were looking at early in the season. He kind of had a big game when Godwin was out again, and a lot of people are like, holy shit, this Scotty Miller guy's the real fucking deal. And it turns out that he was fucking burnt toast or something. He was useless. And then he comes back last week up against the LA Chargers and taps that Chargers ass. Now, this week he gets the Chicago Bears, but that Bears defense did not look all that good last week up against Phillip Rivers, and Tom Brady does not give 2 shits who the defense is. He's going to be hoisting the rock, or not hoisting the rock. He's going to be throwing the pigskin all over the yard. And I think Scotty Miller's definitely a solid add this week. Just some random ass motherfucker that's on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that Tom Brady just has a love affair for, just like he does with his son. Next one here, we got MVS, wide receiver of the Green Bay Packers. Now, they do have a bye this week, so he's more of a kind of stash and wait kind of play. Now, I understand Devontae Parker is going to come back, No, not Devontae Parker, Devontae Adams, I should say. But you do have to kind of bake in the fact that fucking Al Lazard, the Lazard King, ends up going on IR, probably not coming back till December. Just like Santa Claus, he's going to come back for Christmas. But MVS seems to be the number 2 guy on that team, even with a not-so-hot performance. Man's not hot like Big Shaq here up against the Atlanta Falcons. 4 receptions, 45 receiving yards, 8.5 PPR points, and 4.5 half PPR points. I do expect him to play much better, though, coming back off the bye. Just so you guys know, I do not have the target total for the Atlanta Falcons Green Bay game. I do talk about a couple of players in this game, but I don't have that data due to the fact that NFL.com, Yahoo, all of them didn't show me how many fucking targets he had, as well as the normal website I use, Fantasy Data, normally shows me their targets, but it just does not have the updated for the Monday night game as I'm recording this. If I was to wait until today, as you guys are watching this, if I was to wait until like 5 in the morning to record it, then maybe it would be there, but right now as I'm recording this at night after the games, it's just not there. Next guy here is Olamide Zaccheaus, wide receiver of the Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers this week. Now, I had no fucking idea who Zaccheaus is, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right, so I'm very sorry to you, Olamide Zaccheaus. You fucking balled out up against the Green Bay Packers this week, so I do want to throw some respect on your name. Now, I'm thinking this might be just those fool's gold kind of pickup where he plays good one week where Calvin Ridley and Gage shit the bed, and then next week this Zaccheaus guy is nowhere to be found, but he does get the Carolina Panthers, a kind of plus matchup here. So I'm not saying you should play him. I'm just saying I would definitely be in a deeper kind of league looking for him. Seems like Julio Jones could miss next week due to the fact that he re-aggravated that hammy. Should have probably just sat out again this game, but Dan Quinn probably didn't want to lose his fucking job. I don't know how that guy still has a job. Unbelievable. 0-4 for the Atlanta Falcons. So Olamide Zaccheaus is definitely a kind of deeper league kind of add. 8 receptions, no clue how many targets he had because, again, none of the websites showed me. 86 yards, 16.6 PPR points, and 12.6 half PPR points. Very involved in that Atlanta Falcons offense. I don't really expect him to be as involved this week, but again, we have no idea if Julio Jones is going to play. And if Julio Jones misses, maybe just maybe in a deeper kind of league, you can play Olamide Zaccheaus. Next one here, we got Brandon Aiyuk, wide receiver of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, he's all the way back here because it's kind of fucking obvious that you should add Brandon Aiyuk this week going up against the Miami Dolphins. Now, there is kind of a confusion as who the fuck's going to be the quarterback this week. Maybe it's sexy boy Jimmy G, Jimmy GQ, Jimmy Handsome, whatever you want to call him. Maybe it's Nick Mullins, but I don't think so. Maybe it's Horse Cock. What do I call him? I think his name was Big Dick Beathard. That's what I was calling him. Maybe it's one of those guys. I really have no idea which of the 3 it will be, but Brandon Aiyuk proves to be that Swiss Army knife in that San Francisco offense. And I understand Deebo Samuel is not 100% in this game. He wasn't keeping it 100 like the Romans 300 bitches, whereas the Trojans, like Kanye West would say, he was more of like a 50-50, kind of like a coin flip in that game. But Brandon Aiyuk has been used like that Swiss Army knife. He is getting those rushes in these games that is highly elevating his point total. 5 targets, 2 receptions, 18 receiving yards, right? That doesn't seem very hot. But 1 rush, 38 rushing yards, 1 rushing tutty for 13.6 PPR points and 12.6 half PPR points. So on a weekly basis, if he's going to be getting those nicely drawn up plays from the coach over there on the sideline who loves to choke in the Super Bowl, shout out to you, Mr. Shanahan, I think that Aiyuk is definitely worthy of an ad and definitely a guy that you could play on a weekly basis, especially up against the Miami Dolphins. I pray to the Lord as a Miami Dolphins fan. I'm wearing the hat right now that Tua Tagovailoa gets his first ever start in this game. Now on to the tight end part of the video. Now I understand Robert Tonyan does not even have a game this week, but this guy is going to town on those defenses. People are calling this guy mini George fucking Kittle. He fucking spent the summer with George Kittle. They were braiding each other's hair or something, and Robert Tonyan just got bred into a fucking beast. Speaking of George Kittle, though, real quick, this guy, sheesh, what a game up against the Philadelphia Eagles. But Robert Tonyan, 3 good weeks in a row. Not uno, not dos, but a trace. Good weeks in a row. Week 4 going up against the Atlanta Falcons. This guy went to pound town. No idea how many targets he had, but he had 6 receptions. He had 98 yards. 1, 2, 3 touchdowns. Count those. 33.8 PPR points and 30.8 half PPR points. This guy individually won you your week, and you probably didn't even feel ultra confident starting him. Now, I did kind of like him going into the week, but I didn't have him like a top 5 guy. He was the number 1 tight end, I believe, on the week besides George Kittle. This guy's a fucking monster on the field. And even with Sternberger there, even with the other guys there, I think that Tonyan is clearly the tight end one there. Now, I do worry about his production potentially dipping with Devontae Adams healthy. We will have to see that happen, but I still think Tonyan's definitely worthy of a start when he comes back from the bye. And the other tight end to talk about here is a guy you can actually play this week because he's playing up against a real team. I like how I said a real team. The fucking New York Football Giants are not a real team. Dalton Schultz, tight end of the Dallas Cowboys, going up against the New York Football Giants this week. I believe in Jerry's world, even if it's in MetLife, I don't give a damn. Week 4 up against the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns absolutely gave them a nice railroading. They spanked that ass until it was pink. It was dirty. It was a dirty, dirty move by the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, wow, what a game. But no need to really talk about the game for them side. We're going to talk about Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys offense just seems to be buzzing at all cylinders. Now, against the Giants, they should be able to put up 7 zillion points, so I'm not too sure how involved Schultz will be, considering they should be running it, but he does seem like a solid streaming tight end on the week up against the Giants. Last week up against the Browns, 4 receptions, 8 targets, 72 receiving yards, and 1 total tutty. He did end up scoring 17.2 PPR points, so Schultz definitely is kind of a safe play to pick up off the waiver wire. Not too many great tight ends, though, available at this time. So if at this time you guys have ended up enjoying this video, we made it all the way to the end. Hooray! We are almost at 9,000 fucking subscribers, and if you want to hop on the train right now before it's too late, before we pass 9,000 subscribers, right, you can hop on whenever. I'm always welcoming new people onto the goddamn train. We are going to hit the fucking moon this year. 10K plus subscribers this year. I'm calling it. I really want it. And I feel like we're going to be able to get it. So thank you guys all for watching. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new. Make sure you leave a like on the way out as well. I really appreciate all the support I've seen recently. I love all of you motherfuckers from the bottom of my heart. This season has been amazing. And we're going to continue to eat fucking W's all season long. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I love you all. And I'll see you dirty, dirty bastards later with another banger of a video. Goodbye!